as I pedal ties and
skills. Thankful, wonderful blessings, many overflow. Said I'm humble, vulnerable, humbly vulnerable. Said I'm thankful for the wonderful blessings, many overflow. So humble, vulnerable, humbly vulnerable. Thankful, wonderful blessings, many overflow. Said I'm humble, vulnerable, humbly vulnerable. Said I'm thankful for the wonderful blessings, many overflow. So humble, vulnerable, humbly vulnerable.
Hey Joe, Kendrick said, "Be humble, people vision."
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audience.
The one thing that made me who I am today is being vulnerable. It's breaking myself down to the absolute rock bottom and being able to tell people who I am. And that's how I fixed it. Literally, being able to look somebody in the eye and say, you know what, man, I have a whole bunch of character problems. Character flaws. I've lied about this. I've cheated here. I'm insecure here. This isn't the real me. I wanted your acceptance in life. All those things happen, but the thing about it is that we get judged so quickly by who we are. We don't know. We don't go to where it happened. Life created this person, me. Life created me to be this fucked up person that I was back in the day. And I had to realize, man, that's okay, man. It's not.
What up, though? What up, though? Everybody, what up, though? Welcome to another week of Tantalizing Thursdays. And I am your host, Mr. Drummond. And just want to say, if you watching me and I'm talking to you, we made it another week. Thank the person that you're supposed to thank for that. And then let's get it on. You know what I'm saying? And got my special co-host in the building with me tonight. And that would be SG.
Hello.
How was your week, SG? How everything been going with you?
My week was a little stressful, but I'm here. So that's the most important thing.
For real. Hey. Put your stress down, though. You know, you got to lay that down. You got to get that stress away. You know, you got to get stress to the Most High. Let him do that, you know. Let him take care of the stresses. And, you know, you got to just continue on. Hey, things get better. You hear me? Eastside salute to SG being in the building. One of the tightest engineers to do this podcast and thing here. I'm trying to tell you, seen the whole new layout.
Thank you.
All that shit is pow. Eastside salute. Yes, indeed. Y'all saw it in the beginning. The whole little layout. That's all SG. She puts it down. Eastside salute. Once again. What I'm saying. And got that special topic for the night. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get right on into it. Is being vulnerable okay for men? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
That's what we're gonna be talking about tonight. You know
right.
what I'm saying? And like, what you feel about that? What you feel about
Um, it's that's a tough one, because it's like if sometimes if men are vulnerable with you too early in a relationship, you might look at them as weak. So it's kind of hard, from a woman's perspective. We don't really want a man that's weak. We don't want a man that comes off as weak, but I think a lot of times we confuse vulnerability with weakness, and they're not the same thing. And so sometimes it can be kind of hard to really pinpoint that.
well, the definition: vulnerable, someone who is weak and without protection, with the result that they are easily hurt physically or emotionally.
Mm,
And from there, I go to say, um, see, when it comes to relationships, especially on a relationship tip, and we got my man Eastside Salute to YB Sincere joining us
YB's
in
in the
the
house.
building tonight, and I just feel like this here, Shonda's in the building. Um, it's when you jumping into something, you don't really know what emotional thing a person is going through, even physical, like the definition said, you don't know what a person really going through, so it kind of be like when a woman gets into a little situation with a man, she comes into the relationship with some vulnerability, because of the past things that she was hurt physically or mentally in the past thing, you
Right.
know, and we have to we have to listen to that, and we have to, you know, we have to be compassionate to that, and we don't look at that. I feel, I'm just saying, I feel certain men don't look at that as a weakness. So what I don't understand is on the opposite side, if a man coming to you and just say he is vulnerable early, why would that be considered weakness or a sign of some form of weakness when you don't even really know what he done went through?
I would think it has a lot to do with the definition, like you just said. If you read that definition back, it talks about basically something that needs to be protected. And, a lot of times women don't look as men as needing to be protected. A lot of times it's the opposite way. So it's easy for a woman to be vulnerable with a man without that social backlash because we don't get that. A lot of times men get it. So um, it's just, I think it has to do with the definition of what a person is looking at when it comes to vulnerability.
On the other side, like I say, you to look at it that way, of course, but why wouldn't a female feel like, or some women, I should say, why would some women feel like a man would need a little protection? Because I'm gonna give you an example of the wolves. If the male wolf is confronted, the female wolf puts her head up under his neck to show whatever it is that's confronting the male wolf, that she's there too. I'm protecting too. So why if nature can do that, why wouldn't some women give a man that type of protection to even let him express himself in that nature to become, well, because once it's expressed, it makes him a little bit of a more better person.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And I think it goes back to if that person is the right person for you, because the person that's for you is going to allow you that space to be that way without backlash, without criticism. But in the time that we live in now, there's so many people that are just dating without intent. And, they come across these people and they want to be vulnerable, and they do be vulnerable, and then with the men they get vulnerable with a person that's not meant for them, and that person basically uses that against them, and they build this shield up where they're like, well, clearly I can't be vulnerable around a woman, when that's not really the case. You just couldn't be vulnerable around that specific woman because she wasn't for you. And so um dating with intent, making sure that if you are going to be vulnerable, that you be vulnerable with the person that's meant for you to be vulnerable with.
I mean, that's definitely understandable, but I just kind of wanted to like just kind of touch on it because it's like it's always looked at from one side, But before I really go into that, because I got that down in my notes and I don't want to jump too far too fast, but the vulnerability, I got it as, as in one, you know, you got to be willing to break yourself down. You one is being humble enough to know that there's a problem, and part of this problem or the majority of this problem could be you.
You as the person that's listening, or you as the person that's trying to be vulnerable?
The person, you breaking yourself down, yourself,
Hmm.
because you got to understand that you are responsible for a lot of the things that has happened, you know. So it's like stop blaming is what I'm saying, and understand yourself first. That's the first part to me of being vulnerable as a man. I'm saying is he has to learn to break himself down and get himself out the way. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, I think you would know much better than I, because women are built differently,
True.
and we break down at the drop of a dime. It's not like we have an issue with that because society hasn't made such a big stigma about us being emotional. And so it's the opposite for us. If we are masculine or hard, or then we get backlash. But for us to be vulnerable as women, we don't have that issue. We don't get that. So um we don't have to go through the process like a man would have to go through.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, I'm just asking because you're a lady on the show, so I don't just want to be
Right.
just taking up all the airspace, you got an opinion, so hey, drop it down. But number two is finding honesty. You know, my dad always said, you can lie to everybody, but lying to yourself is unhealthy, you know. And it's people out here that they just really starts to believe in their own lies. It's almost as if a lot of men can't find honesty. It's just quick to lie. It's like break yourself down, fam, and then start to find your honesty. That's one. And two, you have to find that honesty. What do you think? What do you think about finding the honesty as number two?
Yeah, honesty is key. I don't think anybody can be vulnerable without being honest unless they're lying. People that are seeking attention or seeking they want attention from everybody because I'm about to cry, cry, cry. Okay, but you're not really being honest. So a person who can truly be honest, that will open them up to be vulnerable in the right atmosphere.
Then YB, Did he say? Did he say yeah? Not yet. Okay. Um. Well, YB will be with us pretty soon. Hey, hey, that ain't wood, is it? Y'all got to excuse me.
Please don't be that vulnerable.
Got to excuse me. But yeah.
Clearly, you've been smoking.
Oh, for sure. So, you know what I'm saying? But before we go to the song, I'm going to pop in number 3. So when we get back from this song we about to drop is being accountable. But SG, do your thing.
Suave on the track.
Hey, yo, Blue. Lolo, turn that up. Hey. Was love to a broken heart. So strong, but this one hits hard. Pay deep, but the love runs far. All this damage, I can't take it no more. Oh, what's love to a broken heart? Only one can go through so much damage. What's love when you broke my heart? What's love to a broken heart? It's crazy cause as a man, you ain't supposed to have no feelings. But fuck that, I'm in my feelings. Usually hold it, conceal it. I think it's time to reveal it. Deep inside, I need some healing. I need some closure. It's crazy how I told you. One day you're leaving, it'll be over. No one ever stays by my side. Don't tell me you got me, you won't ride. These are things that I think about. Hands together as I take about. Don't usually say what I'm praying about, but us is what I'm praying about. And that the whole family make it out. Thinking, am I allowed to hurt? Telling my pain, will it get worse? Feel I've been through the worst. So how much could it really hurt? Was love to a broken heart. So strong, but this one hits hard. Pay deep, but the love runs far. All this damage, I can't take it no more. Oh, what's love to a broken heart? Only one can go through so much damage. What's love when you broke my heart? What's love to a broken heart? You said no one stays, but you left. We could've got alright, but you left. My things in a box to the left. You play my love to the left. The times I stayed, I should've left. These are things I don't understand. Not entitled to no feelings as a man. I guess I gotta take it on the chin. They say it is what it is, but on my daughters, fuck what it is. Was love to a broken heart. So strong, but this one hits hard. Pay deep, but the love runs far. All this damage, I can't take it no more. Oh, what's love to a broken heart? Only one can go through so much damage. What's love when you broke my heart? What's love to a broken heart?
Eastside salute to
Okay,
my
that was hot.
guy, Too Sauce.
Yeah,
Cause what's love?
that was hot.
That broken heart, boy. Trying to tell you, that's that broken heart shit. You know. But hopefully we ain't got a lot of broken hearts out there. But that shit was hot. You hear me? But anyway,
Show.
Eastside salute, boy. Keep dropping them hits. Too Sauce. So check it out. But I'm gonna tie all these as far as the topic. I'm gonna tie all these into one because I don't want to be all day. So 3 was being accountable, but I'm gonna say starting to save yourself, fixing what you broke, all at the same time.
Okay,
Chantel
boo.
is the building. Eastside salute to you. Um, it's being accountable is kind of like in your honesty, but I'm gonna take it one step further because accountability is much more than just being accountable for the things you did, but taking the time to these just to my believers now is taking the time to get things straight with who you believe in. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to take it there also. You know, you got to start to heal the damage. You know, you start fixing what broke you. You know, because there's some things that you did beforehand and it trailed you. You know, you came right along with you. Now you got to cut it off and start to fix the damage. You know, what you think, SG?
Yeah, accountability is a huge one, because um, if you've done something to somebody or they've done something to you that you feel like it wasn't right, and you can't be vulnerable with that person if you don't address the issue first. And so, accountability is huge, 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 especially for me, in dealing with anybody that we need to be in a vulnerable space together. You know, we need to address whatever the issues are, because if you can't do that, then you can't live in a vulnerable space. Neither one of you can be vulnerable with the other. And that's even in a friendship type thing. I don't know how guys, I think I was watching a video earlier where a man was saying that it's weird for him to say I love you to his homeboy unless he put like I love you dog, like he got to throw something in there, because it's a stigma of it's weird for men to be that way with women, but I mean with men to be that way with each other. But it's the same thing with women trying to be that way with women, because if me and my homegirl we not seeing eye to eye, I'm just gonna keep her at a distance. I'm not finna be vulnerable with her, because there's some issues I feel that are right there that is not allowing me to trust you enough to be vulnerable with you.
Yeah. So hey, I mean, vulnerability is something different, because it could go so many different types of ways, because there's so many different type of vulnerable situations. You know what I'm saying? But what about the starting to save yourself and fixing what you broke?
Yeah, I mean it's a step you got to take. That's all about accountability. Because if you're not taking accountability, you're not gonna fix it. You're still gonna be broke. And so you're not even gonna take a step forward to fix it. Um, but if you, I guess it has to be put out in the open for you to even be accountable for it in the first place.
I just say, it's just starting to be the man. You becoming the man. You leaving out of the boy and you becoming the man. He said you put the childish things behind when you start growing up. You know, and you have to start to save yourself as far as man and being vulnerable. These is the steps you taking to first get yourself in tune to even be vulnerable to anybody. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying to you in the order that I'm saying these things and asking your opinion. It's not so much of the vulnerability at this point, is you getting yourself together first is where I'm at with it. It's like let's get man together first. Let me get myself together before I can even really start to think about being vulnerable to anybody, because you don't even know how. Is basically why I came in them first 4 ways. And we got my man YB in the house finally. I don't know if you heard anything. Do we have to backtrack where we at?
A little backtrack. I do apologize. I had to, I was out and about. I was gonna do it from the gas station, but this West 7 Mile, so them flashing blue lights. The brother had to make a left and make a right, and I
I'm
couldn't
trying
do
to
that
tell
on
you.
film because I didn't want no evidence. You know what I'm saying? Because the council do not condone running from the police. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all this
I'm trying to
now. You
tell
know what I'm
you.
saying? We do
Unless
not
it's being
condone running from
filmed,
the police.
for content purposes.
Yeah,
That way we,
yeah, you know what I'm
let
saying? Maybe
see.
movie purposes, you know what I'm saying?
Said.
Entertainment purposes, but no, but
Yeah, but
I had to
we
make a
talking
left, make a
about,
right, yeah, pull up in the driveway.
yes sir. Oh, I ain't mad at you. But we talking about vulnerability. Is being vulnerable okay for men? That's what we talking about. And I went into before basically before going into being vulnerable as a man is these 4 things that you have to do before you even get to vulnerable, and I started with breaking yourself down, finding your honesty, being accountable, and starting to save yourself, fixing what you broke.
Okay, continue. I'm here. I guess I'm caught up.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you was I seen you break your sandwich. I didn't know if you was thinking it was finna go into knowledge. I didn't know where it was going, but I'll go into saying this.
It was going on.
Okay.
It was going into all of that. I was just getting prepared. Go ahead. No.
Because
SG, I see SG on the line.
Hey, YB.
You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I had to do all of this before I got there, because I wasn't such a vulnerable person. And Shalonda is in the building. Eastside, salute to you. It's definitely okay. Just make sure you're vulnerable with someone you trust. Definitely. Because I was going to say that I wasn't such a vulnerable person, until these things started to happen to me. And what snapped me was my parents passing and my mom going first, because I wasn't a crier type of person. And, you never would see me in anything too much emotional, but that snapped me, and then my dad right after that. So it was just like, pow. So then it was one night I was with my girl.
Is this nigga hand up?
I was sitting in a chair, and nigga, maybe I hadn't properly grieved, but I broke down. It's like I couldn't take it no more, and I broke down. And my girl at that time, I gave her everything that was within me, because it was like, I don't know, maybe I just held it too long, and it was because it had been 8 years. So 8 years of me came out in emotion. Take Gunners in the building. So, it took me breaking myself down and getting to the honesty and being accountable for what I did and to fix what had me broke. And once I did that, I was able to be vulnerable. But the thing was, like she said now, when in the beginning, I trusted her enough to give her that side of me, that part of me, and she embraced me. She didn't push me away. She didn't give me some psychobabble ass shit. It was hug and it's gonna be okay. And she told me this. She said, you gotta keep going though. And that snapped me. She was like, you gotta keep going. There's life still. You gotta live life. You still got your life to live. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that snapped me back. It snapped me back. So being snapped back, that's why I be feeling like, why a man can't be vulnerable? Because here I say it's bad when a man can't be vulnerable without being weak. When women are vulnerable and we embrace their vulnerability with hugs, tender kisses, and it's gonna be all right. Why do women get to cry and men are weak for it? My question, why can't men cry? Chantel, it's absolutely okay. I just feel there needs to be a level of maturity and honesty shown. Facts. YB.
Y'all know I'm about to go in, right? I even raised my hand so I can go in. So let's get it. Let's get into the little YB segment here. First off and foremost, is it okay for men to be vulnerable? Women, is it on us to be vulnerable? Because obviously, this is where with this topic, because as the 4% shit, You know what I'm saying? Women, is it okay for me to be vulnerable? Is it okay to be in my fifth time because life is not on the way I have to go? It's a my thoughtness, it's a my fucking play without being judged. We're going to take a moment while I chicken sandwich right here and if anybody respond. You know what I'm saying? And I'm speaking to specific women who want to be in the inbox, talk back to me about how I be acting, how women be doing me. So is it okay?
If you're gonna be extra,
in my feelings?
You being all extra like that, then it's not okay. It's a thin line.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a thin line.
I went from getting cut off to getting cut ins. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Just cut ins. You know what I'm saying? Just cut straight in. That's what we're talking about.
I agree.
I told you I was going to do something.
Eastside salute to Gunna. Yeah, we wasn't groomed for
I can't see the comment. So
my thing is we still have feelings. We go through things. It's not just a life of us being hard. Men listen to vulnerability, but our vulnerability go unheard. You know what I'm saying? By many. You understand me? Which could be the reason why so many are so emotionally scarred. How about that? Nothing.
I think a lot of men are.
Movement.
Say that again.
Ability. I said when I was, hardcore gangster thug niggas, doing my thug dizzle, got that thing on each hip, maybe one on the back, a couple of extra nanny clips. They had to worry about the vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? Only person that was vulnerable was the person that was talking smack to me in front of me, because I know what I got all over my body, and you know what I'm saying? I could play God, I could say Jesus, I could say the Almighty Master. You know what I'm saying? It didn't get issues into women. You need to be a little bit more gentle. You need to show your emotions. You need to express your feelings. You need to communicate more. You need to use your words. I was perfectly fine, quiet, holding my gun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I gotta be vulnerable. I gotta express myself.
Agreed, Chantel.
I can't just grab you and shake you like, shaking baby syndrome. But I gotta be expressive now. I gotta share my thoughts. But then you don't agree with what I share. Then I'm wrong for sharing what I share. You know what I'm saying? Then once I share it, then it'd be the finger pointing back at a person like, oh no. Like, wait a minute, but this is what you wanted. So, that's good. Women, is it okay for us to be vulnerable? Is it okay for me to come home and put my head on your lap and say, baby, I had a hard day?
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Is it okay? I wasn't done. I wasn't done, SG. I wasn't done with my rant. I wasn't done.
I'm agreeing.
Okay
we on one accord right now.
Is it okay? No, I don't want that right now. I need you to be your normal self. I don't need you to be agreeing with me. That's messing up my point. That's messing up my point here, man.
Be vulnerable at the same time. Hey, man, it just be living when you be just living.
That's almost like being in your role right there. You gotta pick a side.
It just be. I feel like you living your life always having to be hard. Let things roll off your back. Well, if that's so, then who do we talk to other than Jesus? That was just my own personal question I was asking. I had to write it down, but we know that Jesus is the friend of all friends. But humanly, who do we talk to?
Of course. Go to the man above. Yep. You know who's second? Your local strip club. You go in there and tip a couple dollars, get plenty of therapy. You know what I'm saying? They will listen to you all night. All night. You know what I'm saying? Even while they swinging around the pole. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
They don't judge me.
Really? See, I was with you. You had me. I was there with you, but you just lost me right here.
Hey, we going down the list of places and things that where we can go to and take our vulnerability to. You know what I'm saying? You didn't say nothing when Mr. Drummond said take it to Jesus. It's a problem when I take it to the strippers. You know what I'm saying? That's why y'all see, look, right there, being judgmental right there. I'm being vulnerable right now. You want to judge me because I go to the strip club to get a little bit of therapy?
There's no judgment here.
That's not crazy.
You just said it. You just said it. I was on your side until you brought up the strippers. It's video.
I just jumped shit.
It's video.
Hey, I want to go back to
that's judging. You was on my team until I said let's go to the strip club, get a couple of shots, and talk my issues out.
No, that's not what you said.
Comment when you get a chance to put that back.
You didn't say we going to the strip club. You said you going to the strip club with a couple of dollars. That's what you said.
Hey,
that's
wait a minute. Hold on. Therapy starts with self, right? It's called self.
Yeah.
I don't have to take everybody with me when I go get to therapy.
Whatever.
This nigga is stupid.
I did hear a guy say though.
Come with me.
I did hear a guy say though that he would rather cheat than be vulnerable.
Nah, see,
because ain't no feelings in cheating.
That's a nigga that's nuts. It's real. That's just
ain't no feelings in cheating. Cheating has a purpose. I'm here like the plumber. I'm here to do a job and leave.
Shalada say it's not really a matter of what women are okay with. It's are you ready to be vulnerable? Have to be with someone who won't hold that over your head. Maturity and trust. For shizzle. All that, But see, that's why
a false statement.
I was saying.
That's a false statement.
This is why I was saying.
Since the beginning of time, women been hanging things over our head.
For real. But that's why a man got to first.
You been in the cotton field too long. Where you been at?
Be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? See, like Gunna said, first of all, we ain't even really built to be that way. But see, life is what it is, and sometimes some women just forget that men go through shit, It ain't always about just that superficial shit, because relationship wise, that's all superficial, that is what it is, because that's what life is. But you got men out here that have lost their mothers, have lost, loved ones that has really affected their lives. You don't know what a person has been going through. You know what I'm saying? I done just been riding down the street in the ride for real, and look over and I've seen both a man on the side of me crying like a mug, and I've seen a woman on the side of me crying like a mug. You don't know what people be going through, especially amongst meeting somebody. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
that's true.
When you sit down and get to know somebody, and like women especially, I'm not telling you what to do, but when you meet a dude and you sitting down and you talking to him, just know this: he got a deeper story than what he's telling you. And if you ask the right questions, sometimes some shit he wouldn't tell you because he want to say it, but sometimes it's the right questions that pull it, because one, we ain't gonna volunteer it. It ain't just gonna be no volunteer shit. Just, hey, look, this me. Nah, some of that shit gotta be drawn out of us. And if I'm sitting there with you, it's gotta be something about you that's got me sitting there with you. And maybe that might be enough trust for me to tell you some things, and maybe you won't laugh at me, make me feel like maybe I shouldn't say nothing, because sometimes a man can say something and y'all got this thing, women, that it shows on y'all face. Y'all can't hide it.
Universally shows.
And he sees it, and he knows that, oh, I shouldn't have said
so that. Is it true that as men, if you share something with a woman, and you are vulnerable with her, that she really only has one chance to show you that she's not respecting that, and then it's a wrap.
Yeah,
Depends on what it is.
I can agree with that. I've heard that said many times.
Or it could be on the level, well, okay, that one wasn't so bad, but I know what not to share with you or what not to open up to you about.
Right there, right.
'Cause,
You actually cause a
like,
man to shut
y'all gotta
down behind
think.
that shit.
Down, yes. Like, and it's not like y'all don't know this. Like, y'all have seen this repetitively. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of the last man y'all know that wasn't vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? Think of what he did. You know what I'm saying? He beat her behind the couch and then moved his little piece out of his hair that was messed up and, told her to go clean herself up. Oh, y'all know what I'm talking about? It's a good question. What love got to do with it? The Ike and Tina story. You know what I'm saying? That's the last brother we know not to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta reach.
Not
you
to
gotta
express
reach
his feelings, and you see what happened with that.
Shay say, so what are some pointers you guys can help y'all? Well, I must say this. One, depending on it's individual situations because all men are not the same. So let's just get that out the way. But like I said, it's trying to reach a person, kind of like, you know how they say women, y'all got intuitions. It's like you should be able to read if you're paying attention. You kind of can read a person, you know what I'm saying, and like kind of pay attention. It's certain things that a person is saying, and men speaking code, so it's almost like you got to try to crack a code of what he's saying to you. A nigga that's full of bullshit because he talking bullshit. He ain't serious. Them niggas, but a man that's really talking to you. And I'm only talking about those men that's talking to you. It's them questions you can ask that he'll sit and tell you. But once you cross him and that shit go beyond the table that y'all sitting at, it's a wrap. He'll never open up to you again. He'll love you to the day he die, but he'll never tell you his most intimate thoughts. What gonna say? Talk to us and not at us. I thought that's what that said, and I got to get out of Eastside Salute. Talk to us, not at us. Don't come into the room just thinking we some hard ass niggas. And yes, full of riddles. Yeah, we talking code because we so used to talking to niggas all the time.
Right, y'all the ones that's full of riddles.
Talking to y'all. It's kind of we talking in code, so it's kind of like a code y'all have to crack. When talking to men, we saying something to you, but it's not directly, it's indirectly, and we just hoping you feel what we saying. And once you see it, like I see what he's saying, then that's when it's on and popping. It's just like I don't just want to be just outright vulnerable, but I'll be vulnerable at a certain extent to you. I'm gonna extend you some of these here and see if you get it type shit, because I used to be like that when I was young. I never spoke directly to women. I was just always indirect. I tell you something, and if you get it, that's cool. If not,
you missed out.
I'm missing out on that this evening munchy grunching you got going on, because man, it's just the way you eating it, just you making it look good. I'm hungry. Nah, YB, I'm pretty direct. I don't know about other women. Yeah, she pretty direct. She like me.
Wait. First off, you ain't just gonna put me out there like that, a direct comment like that to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting strength and wellness back. You know what I'm saying? Don't be putting me out there like that. I was making generalized statements tonight. I'm gonna sit back here learning tonight. I ain't even talking that much smack tonight. I'm smacking on food more than I'm talking smack on the podcast tonight. Don't come at me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, all I know is it's okay for me. I feel like
the
it's
next
okay
topic would be
for
about
me.
how we put y'all in y'all feelings. But leave me alone. Let me enjoy my chicken strips.
Cause you look like you enjoying them too, my nigga. You eat them.
Y'all do put us in our feelings though. That's how she said, "Get out your feelings, YB."
Not as much as y'all put us in ours.
Uh-oh. You commented
Why
on
y'all
her
be
full of
messing with me
riddles
tonight?
comment.
You came in here with that nonsense.
He was being vulnerable.
Cause we ain't full of
Wah,
riddles.
wah, wah.
Our code talk is not riddles. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Our
it is.
code
Come on
talk,
now.
like we be so blatant with y'all.
Nah, niggas
It's
don't
not
be blatant.
riddles. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying? It just
it's riddles. You know, I'm saying it in old school
That part
terms.
you
I
can
don't
tell.
know. I don't know what y'all call it today because I'm 50. So shit, back in the day, it was just run a game. So I just take it there. You know, shit, niggas be not running game, but like I say, be talking in mystery. You know, be just say some shit and hope you get it type shit. You know.
But
Not
that
real.
part right there is the reason why women have a hard time dealing with that situation there too, because men run game so much that we honestly don't know when to take you as a vulnerable moment. Like we like, okay,
That's true.
is he really being vulnerable
Wait.
or the nigga just trying to run some game?
But
So
not all men. You know, she ain't been saying.
why we always gotta be the one to
She
run
just
game? First off,
she been hitting all men. So you know, I have to say for the men, not
right,
all men.
allegedly.
right.
Not all men.
First off,
'Cause
we
they know
learned
they
to supposedly game from you women. You know what I'm saying? How about those apples? We learned the
I
game
mean,
from
I
you
can't
women,
speak
and
for
our
everybody.
daddies
I can only
help us
speak for
improve
myself.
the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yolanda say,
Game is what
I'm
it
just
is.
saying, since you want to say, "Oh man,"
well,
since you
see,
want to
that's
say,
the
"Oh
whole
man,"
thing
I
right
learned
there.
everything
When I
I know.
read this, hold on.
I learned
Shalonda
everything
said,
I
I'm always
know.
grateful when someone is vulnerable with me. Sometimes they want a response, and sometimes just knowing they have a listening ear is enough. That's very true. You know what I'm saying? That's very true. You know, but
And do you know that's all? Sometimes what we need is just an ear. You know how much a listening ear will get you. You know what I'm saying? You nigga go out and get bubbles and start running bath water and cooking salmon and shit
but what
just
I
to
was
have
gonna
somebody
say
to hear
is
a nigga out.
to that. Why do we feel like we gotta run game on each other anyway? You know, what's the game? I want to know what the game is. That's what I want to know. You know what the game.
That
What is
part,
the game?
Chantel. Riddles.
It say, how can I allow you to be vulnerable and I don't even have the time to understand what you're saying? Well, that like I said, if you dealing with somebody like a nigga that's you sitting with a nigga and
Learn my
you know, this
love
nigga got
language,
some shit.
baby.
I ain't saying he talking to you stupid, but if you listening to what he's saying, he actually saying some shit to you is just almost just like you gotta decode it. Cause like I said, I used to be like that. You know what I'm saying? I would not talk directly to you when I'm a Scorpio. So man, I
You
can
gotta
keep
be
some
in
shit to
tune.
myself.
What was your antennas at when I was speaking, baby?
That part.
Gunna said it's a two-way street.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sometimes you need a person to just shut the fuck up. Silence is key sometimes.
Hey, real facts.
So I feel attacked, but that's okay.
Real facts. You
Oh,
know.
cause I was gonna add to it, cause that's like one of them women myths. That's a women myth right there. You know what I'm saying? Not in the evolution of women and have a woman ever STF.
You
I
said has
just
she
feel
what?
like a man should
Yeah, I
be
was
able to
polite
be
with
as
it. I was
vulnerable,
politically
be
correct.
vulnerable as he want to be, you know. But my thing is, it won't happen because y'all done scared a lot of men into that. And I ain't talking about stupid niggas. I'm talking about niggas that's that would be vulnerable with you, y'all done scared niggas out of that. Niggas are scared of that. Nah, I ain't telling her nothing. It'd be too much gossiping going on these days.
But is that the fault of the person that they're with now, or is that the fault of the person that they was with before? Because then it's like almost like you didn't even give me a chance.
Honestly, it could have been the person. It could have been the very first person. Shit, and everybody else just
right. So it's like you're not even giving me a chance. You just like
you get the chance. You get the chance, but it's like how y'all got y'all safety valve when y'all don't want to be open with a nigga. It's the nigga got that same shit. He'll build a wall around his heart too. That's what I'm saying. Y'all just don't give a fuck about how a man be feeling. Don't give a fuck. He build a wall too. He be like, whoa, damn, it happened to me once. Shit, shame on me. Will it happen again? We thinking that same shit too that y'all be thinking. I ain't telling this nigga shit because the last nigga did this and did that. I got this wall up around my heart, and that's okay for y'all. Okay, well, nigga done had his heart hurt too, got the wall up, but that ain't okay for him.
Nah, I think it's fine. I'm just saying I don't think that you guys give us a chance.
She said no.
I don't think y'all give us a chance.
Y'all don't give us a chance. You know how we fight to get a chance to even get one of y'all pieces of the rock and the
scared. That's what I think.
I agree.
Both sides be scared. See, honestly.
And I think that a lot of people overcompensate for the fact that they're scared by putting game out there and showboating and being extra and doing all this other stuff because they're afraid to be vulnerable with each other.
That's like a nigga getting the pricey car. He gotta have a Lamborghini. You know what that means. You know what I'm saying? He compensating for some shit, right?
So I've been told.
Okay, that's kind of like some on the street shit.
So what do it mean
be doing that shit to compensate for the fact that he really hurt inside. You know what I'm saying? That shit be a front. That's the shit that you ain't reading. All you reading is this nigga full of shit. He think he this, he think he that, but no, that shit is just compensating for the fact that he hurting. He need for you.
And that Lamborghini make him feel good.
Sometimes just to pull him to the side and say, you know what? I know this shit you doing ain't nothing but a little fad. This shit, this some fake shit. Tell me what's really popping. You know, like I say, you can get at a nigga just by being that 100 straight up, and he nigga be like, damn, to get the crying probably like, damn, you saw that? You knew I was faking the funk on the nasty dunk. Mr. Payne is in the motherfucking building. I got to say what up, Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne. Let me tell you, we talking about that vulnerability. Is it okay for men? I'm gonna let you jump right on in because you know you my friend. Because you like to rhyme. You got to jump on in because you my friend. You hear me? Eastside salute to Mr. Payne.
It just comes off natural, man. That's how the man above allowed me to flow. Yeah, I think it is okay for men to be vulnerable. I think it's definitely okay for us to be vulnerable, especially if we want to grow our families. If we want to grow our family and the people that we're involved with in some type of way, we need to learn to be vulnerable and know that that's okay. And I think the reason it's difficult for men to be vulnerable because they've never been taught how to be vulnerable. I mean, you still got old school men raising men and they attempt to do it in the old school way, but in the times that's not the same. And not sharing your emotions was probably cool in the 40s and the 50s and things of that nature, coming out of slavery to the Jim Crow era and, you know, segregation time frame, civil rights and all those different eras in life. But it's like, okay, we made it to this point now, and you have to learn how to heal from that trauma. And one thing about healing from the trauma that you experienced from your ancestry and what they feed to you and me, you got to be learning to be vulnerable and say, okay, this happened to me and I'm okay with that in order for you to really grow. Like I was listening to Secret to Success podcast today, Eric Thomas and some other guys, Eric Thomas, CJ, and I think Jeremy Anderson was on there. And some guys I go through coaching with, but ET, hip hop preacher, motivational speaker. But they was talking about, the title was Just Get a Divorce. But what he was really saying was men are meant to lead, right? Men are meant to lead, not in the sense of a woman cannot lead, but men are meant to lead based on order. And a lot of men don't know how to lead because they haven't been taught how to lead. And one of the toughest things to do, especially when you with your significant other, is to be vulnerable so you can become a better leader. Like, hear what I'm saying? In order for you to become a better leader, you have to be vulnerable. When I was in the military, I had to tell my guys about the things that I didn't know in order for them to trust me, in order for me to really grow. Now that I've been married for years and I'm at a different stage in my life, there's still things I have to be vulnerable with my wife that I thought I was cool with, that I realized I wasn't so cool with. But in order for her to really help me, to be my helpmate, for us to truly become one, then one of us, me being the head, has to start being vulnerable and sharing, so she'll know how to help me and where to help me and where to assist me. Right. So if you're not okay with being vulnerable, then you have to ask yourself who you surrounded yourself with today. And if the lady that you with don't allow you to be vulnerable, then you might have to take a step back and ask yourself, is that the woman that you want to be with? Because she may not want you to grow. And you really have to you have to check yourself on that. It's like watching Power. I love watching Power, and I really love the backstory. You can say what you want to say about Ghost Bill and Angelo, whatever, and it wasn't even about that. And the real was seeing that. It was about the fact that he was being vulnerable, saying, I'm tired of the street shit. I'm ready to do it a different way. But unfortunately for him, the woman that he was with and his homeboys still wanted him to stay the same. They wasn't willing to be vulnerable and let their lifestyle go. And that's why a lot of people don't grow, because you want to keep it from what the last relationship or what the last person did to you. So this ain't going to happen again. So you ain't all the way in. I ain't finna let this happen to me. Then the relationship is a disaster. You keep repeating the process. And it's the same way in our life. We keep repeating the process. Look, man, I was fucking 40 years old. I was 40 years old when I went back to Oakland Community College and had to sit down with a tutor half my age. Like, bro, I don't know this algebra stuff. We can take it back to 1 times 1 so I can get the foundation right in order to be able to move forward. Talk about having a vulnerable moment as a grown man who'd been at war and who lived life and who've had some experiences. So vulnerability don't just end with your relationship. I mean, it begins with you.
I was going to say that point that you just made is vital, because I think that we talked a lot tonight about vulnerability in relationships with men and women, but there's a lot of other parts of a man's life that he has to be vulnerable in. It's not just your intimate relationship with your spouse or your girlfriend. It's all the other stuff. Are you willing to be vulnerable in those areas as well?
The reason a man can't be vulnerable with his spouse or his girlfriend, because we ain't never been vulnerable with ourselves for real. I often like to ask men when we talking about relationships, because that's what I really focus on. And men, we like to use that term, she not submissive, or she don't listen, or she won't let me lead. And then it's I often ask, well, if you want somebody to follow you, then who's leading you? Man, as a leader, somebody got to be leading you.
Say that again, man.
Like, if you want to, as a man, if you want somebody to follow you, you want your wife to follow you, then my question is, who's leading you? Maybe it's not another man. I hope it's not another man. I hope it's your spiritual higher power.
Man, I'm telling you.
And then that spiritual higher authority will put men in your life to help mentor you and disciple you to what he wants you to do. But you can't expect no woman to follow you if you ain't led by nothing. Because then we don't know if you got a map to where we're going.
Eastside salute to that shit right there. See, that's real shit. That's the shit. It can't go beyond the table. It can't go beyond the table. See, vulnerability is between me and you as far as a man's thoughts. It's between me and you. Once it leave that table, it's a wrap.
You have to look at the other half of that too. Just like we're not taught to be vulnerable, they're not taught to. Some of them are not taught to keep secrets. Now the real one's not finna tell you what's going on with her being or her significant other. The fake one's gonna talk all day long. They ain't really got nothing going on anyhow. So let them keep on talking while you keep on walking. Because the people that truly understand that you want to grow, they gonna hold it down, because everybody don't need to know what you growing through. Because what you going through, people don't understand that that's growing you. So when you being vulnerable, they want to ridicule you. They want to attack you because they afraid to be vulnerable too.
Man, talk to me. Shit.
I'm just saying.
He hit everything I said in my opening moments. I'm talking about he went right down the list of everything I said. I'm telling you, boy.
When it's connected that way, that's how it happened. But like SG was saying, you know, the point I was making earlier, I had to be vulnerable with Ethan, like right before I turned 40. Like, and I may have said this before, but it wasn't my mom's fault that I treated women the way I treated them. It wasn't my dad's fault. It wasn't my mom's fault that I abandoned my family at a point in time. You know what I'm saying? Now, that was a story that I used because these were things that happened in my life that affected me. But in order for me to grow, I had to get very vulnerable with me, and I had to get transparent with me, and I had to take responsibility for me. And here's what I understand as a husband, really. And this is so powerful that it hurts me. And I know this, but really seeing this and accepting this, your wife is really a reflection of you. And if she's been with you for a multitude of time and her life isn't reflecting what you should believe, then you got to start to look at you. Like, it is so powerful the way the influence that you have as a man, not just a male, but as a man. And real men are comfortable with being vulnerable.
You copying off me all the time.
Say that again.
Turn around, my wife copying, just copying. She just.
Hey, that's a good thing.
I'll be like, why you just taking my shit? Just be copying.
What you see.
Just be copying. Just why stop?
What you see.
If she say that, I'm a reflection of you.
About Bambi family. Wait, what?
If you have to kill Bambi and eat to survive, I can't think about Bambi's family.
He basically was saying that you can't be a hunter and be vulnerable at the same time.
But a true hunter knows when to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because a true hunter,
life happens. Because I mean, when something in your life happens, it's something gonna bring you there. Like I said, my mama passing made me cry, nigga. I wasn't no crying, man. Crying? Come on, man. My mama even told me that, boy, I ain't never seen you cry as a grown man until she left here, nigga. And I couldn't stop crying, nigga. You know, I prayed to stop crying, nigga, for 8 years, nigga. I cried, nigga. I cried, nigga. I cried, nigga. I cried, nigga. I couldn't stop crying, nigga. I cried.
Healthy,
shit. Bro. I cried. Something brings you to that moment, man. No matter how hunting Bambi, you can eat Bambi's family. You can eat Bambi, his family. Bambi's neighbor family, you can eat their ass too. But nigga, when it happened and it bring you to that moment, it's there. Yeah. You're vulnerable, bro.
Facts. And you know what? Even in I got a bunch of friends in military work wise, and y'all may know some people too. And I really look at hunters. It's a vulnerable moment for them too, because you taking life, and real hunters know I'm only taking life to give life. And people don't understand being vulnerable. I'm only being vulnerable in order to grow. I'm giving of my life, of what happened in my life, in order for our life or this relationship to get better. I'm hunting so we could eat. You know what I'm saying? I'm hunting deep within me so we could eat as a couple, so we could get better, so we could grow, so we could live that abundant lifestyle. Like, the reason why relationships, I think, really don't grow and people really don't grow because they are afraid to be vulnerable. So when somebody puts some information out there about you that is true, not that it's a lie, that is true, you so worried about what people know about you now. And if you would have took control of the narrative like Eminem and 8 Mile and then just hit them with it and been vulnerable yourself and said what they thought they could say about you, because you already talked to you and you already didn't big up you. Ain't nothing they could do or they could say about you that's going to affect you. And we don't big up ourselves enough. It ain't about being arrogant, but sometimes you have to be very confident and strategic, especially when you're amongst those people who don't love themselves.
You know,
Hear what I said. I ain't talking about who don't love you, who don't love themselves. Because in order for them to talk bad about you, they talking bad to themselves.
You know, they call it. What you just said, what he's saying is cut them at the knees. Cut their ass at the knees. And he said that shit in the most intellectual, nice ass way that a man can present something to your ass. But for all motherfuckers who didn't understand that in layman's terms, you cut their ass at the knees. You hear me? Do you hear me? I don't think they heard me. You cut them at the knees. You say it first. In other words, you say it first. If a motherfucker done leaked your business, fuck it. You say it first. Yep, that is what it is. And I'll never tell you shit again. But yeah, that was some true shit. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Cut them at the knees.
Your test is part of your testimony, man.
Oh,
nothing
damn.
You went through is just for you.
Go there, did he? You ain't go
nothing.
there,
Listen, man, you think what you went through is about you. Quit playing. What you going through is about way bigger. You remember what Harry and Tubman then went through? You think that was just about them getting beat? That was so we could be on camera doing what we do. You think what you going through is about you. If you believe in God and you call yourself Christian or what do you call it, Muslim, or whatever you call yourself, if you believe in a higher power that's bigger than you, then you know you just a speed bump on the way through. You being used too. Don't get it twisted, man. We all got a purpose in this. And if we afraid to be vulnerable with what it or he or she, whatever you call it, brought us through, then why you expecting it to help you? You ain't even doing what I asked you to do. You can't even stand up and be vulnerable and say, look what I came through. He told you last week, or no, we was on the call. Y'all didn't get that part, but he was telling YB how EJ back in the day was clowning. But y'all didn't catch that part. Y'all only see this part. If he wouldn't have took me through that part to bring me this part, to talk to myself in the dark, to talk to myself and encourage myself in the dark, you wouldn't see this part. But that's what's wrong with you. You're afraid to be vulnerable because you're scared what other people gonna say. Dr. Goose is all the way in the building today.
Ooh, talk that shit, my brother.
Dr. Goose is in the building.
Shit.
And this is strictly for men. If you want your family really to grow, then you got to know you have to find something greater than you to lead you and be disciplined and consistent on that thing. And women, you got to understand it's going to be some mistaking being made. And unfortunately, just like we don't know our role, a lot of women don't know their role to be vulnerable and be able to grow, because it didn't start with just the men in their life. It started with their father who didn't do right. So she was struck from a young age. So now you got to fight through all that too. But if you don't know you, it's going to be almost impossible to love a woman that who's already been through. You just going to cause more damage because you ain't fixed you.
Steal them facts and not motherfucking milk. Eastside salute, man. Ooh, for men, I'm telling you, you can be vulnerable. YB, you ain't said too much, man. Come on, give us something.
YB been soaking it up over there, man.
Talk to us, YB.
Man, I told y'all like 223. Sometimes I gotta just sit back and because I'm in that same realm right now. You know what I'm saying? So shit, I gotta sit back and be a student and jot down my lessons. You know what I'm saying? So I can get better. Yes, I'm in that stage. That's why I've been quiet. And then y'all know when Mr. Ping come and then the way he popped in, I knew he was coming with some shit, you know what I'm saying? So I was trying to soak it all in. Like I got both earbuds in, as y'all can see, you know what I'm saying? I ain't missed one word, you know what I'm saying? Like even when Mr. Ping said the conversations, because like we had conversations because my brothers are helping me. Like he said, it took for Mr. Drummond to bring back EJ and not even knowing that it was going to be a part of our show, that EJ made a point in the show, you know what I'm saying? So, like, as we talk and discuss these seriousness, matters and grow as a whole, I still got to sit back and take notes. I got to sit back and reflect on how these notes and what I learned tonight is going to play a factor into my life once we get off this. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yes, indeed. Like I say, it's okay. Shit, I feel like it's okay to be vulnerable, but why just keep walking around or sitting around or whatever you're doing and you emotionally scared? You know, why live in that type of fear? You know, he don't give you that sense first off. He don't even give you that sense of to fear anything, really. You know what I'm saying? But to be emotionally scared, you know, that's the world we live in. The question, you know, why I posed this question earlier. Why can't men cry? You know, I posed
They're
that.
Not
question.
around enough men that cry. They don't know how. They don't know how.
You know, let your feelings.
You know what kills me, bro?
Better.
What blows my mind. So when we talk about the greats like your Davids and your Solomons and those even the Achilles back in the Troy days, those heroes, those manly men, they had a council of men that they would get with and be able to cry with and talk out their issues. We don't have that anymore. It's very few and small in between. I listen to Eric Thomas and the S2 West podcast and those guys, and that's what they do. Like, I'm in a process of building that table as well for guys and individuals. Like, that's my focus in coaching and relationship is men, because we have a lot to say and we need to be heard, but we need to be taught just as much as we need to speak. We need to be taught how to be men and not just males. You know what I'm saying? And we need to be taught that it's okay to be vulnerable. And we need to get some of these fake, no good Negroes out the way who don't really want to grow and move us forward. Like, that's just for real. That day is over with and played out. Like, you don't got time to blame the white man. You don't got time to blame your one man. You ain't got time to blame your brother man. You ain't got time to blame your mother man. You ain't got time to blame your father man. You got time to blame the man that's looking in the mirror. Like Michael Jackson said, I'm asking him to change his ways. Right. When you start looking at that man and you start being as vulnerable as you can, then you'll expand your life and the people around you.
Talk that shit. And that's real facts. I tell you, we be spilling facts and not milk around this bitch. This Tantalizing Thursdays, and this is where we do it. This where you get your healing. I'm telling you, because Mr. Ping, he gonna bring that shit every week. He brings it every week. He's nonstop with the knowledge. Listen, pass the offering tray. I'm trying to tell you. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Trying to tell you,
man. I'm just being real because you know me, man. I'm on here. I'm talking to myself like I'm talking to y'all, family. I'm really talking to myself. There's some things I have to be vulnerable with my wife with that I had to be vulnerable with me first. And listening to that podcast today reminded me, like, we all fall down, but like, man, like the song say, get back up again. It's not about falling. It's about get up. Like, failure ain't real, bro. Like, failure is not real. That's a word, bro. Just like action.
True.
You got to take action just like you take failure. You accept failure on the chin. You know, like, oh my God, I didn't make it. I fell out of high school. Go back. It ain't over. Like, go back, bro. Like, go back. I went back to my wife and my children, bro. Go back. Like, go back to the mirror and look at you again and ask yourself, like Eminem, will the real Mr. Smith please stand up?
Stand up. Shit.
So
it's like so many people get stuck in that moment. Like, they get in failure and they get stuck there, not realizing that they comeback is greater than their setback. And it's like, they can't make it out of that because they start to do, as you said, it's a blame game. They blaming this person. They blaming this person. Oh, it's your fault that this happened to me. It's your fault that I'm this way. But we can't even get to vulnerability because you still blaming. You still got your finger pointed, you know? And it's like, you should be pointing a finger at yourself, number one, as we talked about accountability,
this evening.
you know, and it's just like, that right there, yeah, that was key
Yeah.
because it's so many people just stuck.
When I first came back to Michigan for those couple years, I was growing marijuana. I was at a manager at a marijuana dispensary. I had no idea about marijuana or anything. So I got fast tracked in the game. Like, boom, let's go. I went from working in a dispensary to growing my own clones and selling clones off of Craigslist. Like, I was getting it, right? When I first grew these plants, I had no idea what I was doing. My homeboy gave me the plants. My business, the guy that owned the shop, gave me the plants. Told me what to do, how to water them, the pH balance, all that stuff. Cool. I'm just watering the plants. Now I'm watering these plants for probably 6 weeks or more. By the time he came to the plants, bro, and seen the plant was probably about 4.5 feet tall. He like, bro, oh my God, like these things look great. Oh my God, they ready to bloom. He like, but I gotta cut them. I said, cut them? Man, what you talking about? These things look like Christmas trees in here. These things look good. You gonna cut them? He said, yeah, I gotta cut them in order for them to really grow and produce the way that they can. So when I cut it right here, they're not gonna grow back stronger. So every time you get knocked down, it's like you being cut. Every time you get back up, you got more strength. It's like playing football or being in a relationship. Unfortunately, for our women out here, they know every time they done been cheated on, it's another little cut. It's another little cut where it's almost not easier to accept, but it's almost normal to rationalize that this gonna happen to me.
Say that shit.
Not that I accept it, but it's almost normal to rationalize because I keep getting cut after cut.
Prepare yourself for it.
Right.
After cut, right. So it strengthens you, it toughens you, it hardens you. So every time you fail in life, it's strengthening you, it's toughening you. I realize that the hardest part of any class, especially going to college, is the introductory class because you don't know nothing. Once you pass the introductory class, that's the foundation. Everything is built off of that. So maybe your foundation is cracked. Maybe you came from a divorced parent. Maybe you dropped out of high school. Maybe somebody cheated on you. Maybe you've been molested too. All that could be true.
Yes,
maybe your foundation is cracked. But here's my question to you. If he, God, whatever you call it, wakes you up in the morning, what are you going to do to build a new foundation for you? Because remember, they tear down houses all the time and they rebuild it with a whole new crew. So what are you going to do if your foundation was cracked and it had nothing to do with you? Got everything to do with you, how the house end up, boo. But you got to be vulnerable. Starting with you.
And you got to put in some work.
Go get some motherfucking cement, mix that shit together with some water and a couple of other components. And they got this motherfucking thing they got called a paver. You know what I'm saying? You pave that motherfucking crack. Shit, you get that motherfucking crack together, shit, it'd be like that motherfucker was never there. You hear me?
One thing's for sure, it won't be easy, but it'll be worth it.
It won't be easy. I swear you took the words right out my mouth. It won't be easy.
Hey, I tell you what, you go after what you say you want in life, you'll forget all about not knowing how to cry, because you're going to cry yourself to sleep some days going after what you dream for you.
Because they say it's the heart that makes it great. Understand that.
What do they say? I think I heard it on Joe Rogan, and I heard a couple different ways, and they were talking about men. They said hard men make easy times. Easy times make soft men. Soft men make hard times.
Okay.
So hard men make easy times. They get it done. You think back in the day, your World War I, World War II days, your Black Panther days, stand up, fight for your hood. Hard men made it easier for your kids to walk to school in the neighborhood and get something to eat. Those easy times made some men soft. Right. The soft ones wanted to take advantage of a good situation. And then those soft ones kind of filtered out the hard men because the soft one was helping the other men take down the hard men.
Man.
So they battling on both sides. Now the soft men win because the hard men put away again. Whether they laying down or they standing up behind bars.
Yep.
And now we in difficult times again.
Straight up.
And they making it so difficult for a hard man or even any type of man to stand up and be a man, especially if you're a black man, because they got their hand right in your wife's back and in your family, and they try to destroy that thing. See,
man,
they don't want that power. But you got to be vulnerable.
We go on in the final thoughts. Man, you kicking so much motherfucking knowledge. You kicking that shit, dog. SG. You gotta, cause I gotta let SG say something for the final thought.
Yeah, I'm done.
Cause she ain't gonna have nothing to say. She ain't gonna have nothing to say. I'm telling you, man, you kicking this. No, you kicking that shit. Oh, if men ain't learn shit, they gonna learn some shit to what? But
don't be messing up my note writing process. Damn it, God damn it, I'm taking notes. Damn it, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Ping didn't even have his corner. He had his box tonight. God damn it.
You know, you see, I had his time. You know what I'm saying? I had to give Mr. Ping his knowledge time. He got to drop. He had a lot to catch up on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I appreciate y'all. I see it. I'm like, they still on. I got 15 minutes. I'm on here.
Hey, you seen I come back to Ish talking and all of that because like Mr. Drummond said, if you didn't learn something, because I learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a sponge. I became a sponge as soon as Mr. Ping popped up in the box. Like, ping, sponge. Yup, soaking it all in.
I seen y'all getting it in. I was at my daughter's concert and I was turning everything off on my phone and my YouTube came up. I seen YB talking. I'm like, oh, they already getting it in. Let me turn this phone off before I finish. Anyhow, man, SG.
Like Mr. Drummond said, I mean, it ain't much for me to say. You know, you basically said it all. I'll just say, you know, faith without works is dead. You know, we have to remember that. And if you have faith that you can be vulnerable, you got to put some work in. And it's possible to do it. I'm just praying that all these men out here can find their safe space to be vulnerable. And that's it.
That was
good.
I like that. Safe space. Find your safe space. And plus he did say that in the word, you know, go to your secret place. So find your secret and safe place. I'll add secret to that. YB is in the building. Your final thoughts.
You know. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Glad to be here. Final thoughts. I learned a lot. These will be some of my final thoughts. I learned a lot tonight because, like I said, I'm in the transition and I'm in the learning stage. I do agree with finding your safe haven, your safe spot. Anybody want to donate to my safe spot? It's at Yellowboy313 Cash App. Spend all the dollars y'all can. Y'all know where my safe spot is right now and where I'm taking refuge for my therapy session. You know, that's at Yellowboy313 Cash App. You know what I'm saying? All donations is appreciated. You know what I'm saying? What else I got for my final thought? I got this weird rash on my nipple from this medicine that they gave me from the hospital. I wanted to show y'all, but I didn't think that.
Lordy. I don't think that's
right now he being vulnerable.
Put me back on the
super vulnerable.
Put me back on the big screen. I am being vulnerable right now. You see how she doing us? You see how when we become vulnerable, she just take me off big screen. I am being real vulnerable right now. You know what I'm saying? You
trying not to
see how the women do it.
He wants some more big feet. He wants some more big screen.
How you gonna? Because I'm being vulnerable, I get my feet cut. This is crazy. See, this is
fine.
This is not why. Thank you. Yeah. So back to this rash on my nipple.
Oh, did he get cut?
Mr. Feed then got
good,
the YB.
man.
YB, Eastside
She was
salute to the
attempting to
feed.
be
Getting
so
cut.
nice to him too. She said she was attempting to be nice this year. He
Oh,
did it
I
with his
tried.
Well, we're gonna have to go and move on to Mr. Payne. Your final thoughts.
The nipple got him nipped out. Okay. So listen, as G said, find your safe space. Find your safe space. And fellas, trust me when I tell you, it ain't below her waist. Find your safe space. And trust me when I tell you, it ain't below her waist. You want to be so vulnerable in your life that she allows you into that safe space that ain't going to steer you wrong. That's going to always keep you right. Because by nature, women are loving, right? They're emotional and they're giving, right? And one of the hardest things for us to do as men is give to the person that's closest to us, our wife or our girl who we call our wife. But if you want to be vulnerable, you probably should start there tonight. Go to yourself first. Let me bag up for you. Go to yourself first, and maybe you need to rehearse what you got to say, what you gonna go through. But I assure you, some of the things that you gonna say, she probably already knew that about you. She just wanted to wait till you had the confidence to reassure you that you could do anything that you put your mind to, or else she wouldn't be with you. So know when I tell you that her safe space, your safe space, ain't below her waist. Your safe space need to be in the greater eternal place.
Mm-hmm.
So then she's more comfortable allowing you below her waist because she know that you confident and you strong in your safe space and y'all going the right way. But if your safe space is only below her waist, then you gonna lead both of y'all astray. And y'all gonna keep running in the same circles every day. So find somebody that allows you into this safe space because you was vulnerable in that way. And then you can have all the fun y'all want to have below both of y'all ways. Because y'all safe space is going to be A-OK. And vulnerability will go both ways. And you just keep moving forward on that day. That's my final thoughts. SG.
Man, Eastside motherfucking salute to Mr. Payne and everything he had to say on vulnerability and men. Beautiful shit that was beautifully said, you know. And my final thought, I'm gonna start like this. I'm gonna go back to the beginning and say, one, when it come to it, break yourself down. This for men. One, break yourself down. Two, find your honesty. Three, be accountable. 4, start to save yourself and start fixing what broke you. And then I'll finish with, men, we do have feelings. And I believe that those feelings should matter and be supported by the ones who love you most. Smoke responsibly, drink responsibly, and pay attention to your children. Those are my final thoughts. SG. Eastside salute to all my dogs.
YB made it back.
To everybody in the building. To my guy, Mr. Payne. To my dog, YBSG was in the building with us tonight, giving us the
drumming
4%. You hear what I'm saying? She was giving us that 4% tonight.
That's what I'm talking about, SG.
You know, in the building. That's how we do it. YB. Mr. Payne, did he freeze?
He's still nourishing. I think he's nourishing that rash.
I'm like, don't tell me he froze up again.
Right, because his eyes is blinking.
For real. Thank you, Shay.
Thank you, Chantel. Have a good night.
Salute to you. We love y'all. Thank everybody for being in the chat. Everybody that was chatting. And don't forget to go check out the council tomorrow night.
TD's safe
10:30. Same bat time, same bat channel. Go check it out. And we love y'all, man.
A pair of tatas is a safe space too, y'all.
Fucking
Just
with
to
us.
let y'all know.
This nigga got rash on his neck.
Got rash.
Council session was much needed.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Make sure you share it.
Hey, what a music.
Agreed,
Where
Chantel.
are living music?
We out here.
Set a day for the wonderful blessings. Man, they overflow so humble. Vulnerable, humbly.
Hey Joe, vulnerable was the feeling that I felt as I'm kneeling. Heard a voice in my head, are you ready and willing? Been willing, dealing for paper, but the passion to fuel. Name ring in the States, make international moves. Under pressure, no pressure, calculated my moves. Fascinated you fools, saturated the game with Chicago West Side vibe, works fire. Drop top floor, swerve, pass by your kids at the
Cling to me, can't stay away from this magnetic energy. I'm drawn to you like hold me closer with your hold me down like there's no escape. I need your I'm falling for you. Go lower and keep descending. Go slower, roll me in, ride the wind, get me through the air. I'll drag my fingers through your hair.